I'm Victoria Cash. Thanks for calling the Lucky Land Hotline. If you feel like you do the same thing every day, press 1. If you're ready to have some serious fun for the chance to redeem some serious prizes, press 2. We heard you loud and clear. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com right now and play over 100 social casino-style games for free. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
Available to players in the U.S., excluding Washington and Michigan. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
You are listening to the Cricket Corner podcast with me, Vatsal Vora. Hello and welcome to the final episode covering the 2024 Indian Premier League. We are going to talk about the final from a fan's perspective this time around. Yes, I am a Kolkata Knight Riders KKR fan, and the Kolkata Knight Riders have just won their third Indian Premier League trophy. They've defeated the Sunrisers Hyderabad by 8 wickets in the final on Sunday in Chepauk, and are now firmly set as IPL's third best side, only behind the Chennai Super Kings and the Mumbai Indians. We'll talk about the final first, and then we'll talk about the Kolkata Knight Riders and their squad in general towards the second half of this podcast. So stay tuned for all the stats and figures. But yes, without wasting any further time, let's just dive in and talk about the final. Now, let's be honest, there is not a lot to talk about the final. This was, without a doubt, the most one-sided Indian Premier League final we have ever had in the history of this great tournament. A tournament which started all the way back in 2008. The finals, yes, there could have been a few low-scoring finals. The one that pops into my mind right now is the 2017 final between the Mumbai Indians and the rising Pune Supergiants. I think the total to chase on that occasion was barely 120, 125, but it was still a very good final on a slowish pitch. Today, or should I say yesterday, when the final was played between SRH and KKR, it was the most one-sided final, should I say, in the history of the tournament. It was the Sunrisers Hyderabad who won the toss, and skipper Pat Cummins had no hesitation to bat first. Now, it's the final. You want to play it to your strengths. I completely understand that. But I don't think the Chepauk pitch was suited for someone who wins the toss and bats first. Now, I think the toss played a really, really important hand in making this a one-sided final. Shreyas Iyer himself said at the toss that he would have bowled first had he won the toss. So both of the captains got what they wished for. But Sunrisers Hyderabad just didn't get out of first gear. They were bundled out for just 113 runs, having played just 18.3 overs. Their highest score was all the way down in number 9 when Pat Cummins smashed 24 of 19 balls. But apart from that, not a single Sunrisers Hyderabad batter got into their groove. We all know how good the Sunrisers Hyderabad are with the bat. We have seen them post multiple totals of 250 plus in this edition of the IPL, but it wasn't their day. And yes, they didn't bat well, but credit should obviously go to the KKR bowlers. They made sure they made full advantage of the conditions in hand. There was swing in offer earlier in the innings, which was exploited brilliantly by the likes of Mitchell Starc, Vaibhav Arora and Harshit Rana. And towards the middle overs, when the ball was starting to grip in a typical Chennai fashion, the spinners came into the play. Sunil Narayan and Varun Chakravarti were excellent with the ball as well. Both of them going at an economy rate of 4 and 4.5 respectively. So you can see how well KKR bowling lineup was suited for this kind of a final, this kind of a pitch on the big occasion. And they were just excellent. The Kolkata Knight Riders throughout this tournament have used 6 bowlers. And those are Mitchell Starc, Vaibhav Arora, Harshit Rana, Varun Chakravarti, Sunil Narayan and Andre Russell. These were the 6 bowlers who were used in the final as well, and all 6 of them at least picked 1 wicket. Starc picking up 2 wickets, Vaibhav Arora with 1, Harshit Rana picking up 2 wickets, Narayan and Varun Chakravarti picking up a wicket each, and Andre Russell was probably the star with the ball. He picked up 3 for 19 from 2.3 overs, and his 3 wickets included the important wickets of Pat Cummins towards the end, Abdul Samad and Aidan Markram, who could have gotten into his groove after having played 23 balls for his 20 runs. But yeah, credit to the KKR bowlers. And since this podcast is from a KKR fan's perspective, I think I'm going to talk a lot more about KKR than Sunrisers Hyderabad, because let's be honest, SRH didn't have any momentum heading into the final. They lost that game against KKR in Ahmedabad. Yes, they did beat the Rajasthan Royals, but it was a very deflated and out of form Rajasthan Royals side, so they didn't have the best of the preparations heading into the final. But as I said, and as I've been saying all throughout this podcast, is the credit should be given to the Knight Riders bowlers. Mitchell Starc was just excellent with the new ball. There were so many talks surrounding Mitchell Starc before the playoffs. Was he worth the 24.75 crores? Has KKR overspent? Why is he not performing? Should he be dropped in favor of Chamira, the Sri Lankan fast bowler? But credit where credit is due. Mitchell Starc has been excellent in the 2 playoff games in which the KKR have featured. He picked up 3 wickets against SRH in the first playoff game, and then in the big final he picks up 2 wickets, ends up with 2 for 14 from 3 overs, and the ball he bowled to Abhishek Sharma in the first over was probably the ball of the tournament. It was a fast bowler's dream. I'll try my best to explain what happened on that particular delivery. There were 3 dot balls in the opening 3 balls. Then Abhishek Sharma runs 2, so he's 2 of 4. Then comes the dream Mitchell Starc delivery. He pitches it at around good length, targeting the middle stump, but he then swings it away from the left-hander, clips the top of off stump of Abhishek Sharma. That was class personified. Yes, Mitchell Starc has gone for a few runs in this IPL, but when the time comes, when the pressure's on, you always back your big players, and that is something the KKR management have done throughout this IPL. That is something the captain Shreyas Iyer has done throughout this IPL. Back his big players, back the likes of Mitchell Starc, Sunil Narayan, Andre Russell, and they will give you the goods. And I'm so impressed by how well Mitchell Starc has bowled in this playoff match. He's picked up the man of the match awards in both the first qualifier and now in the final as well. He was just outstanding. Then comes Vaibhav Arora. Vaibhav Arora has slightly gone under the radar as far as the KKR bowling is concerned. He's seen other guys picking wicket around him, but he also chipped in with a wicket. Harshit Rana has been outstanding from the very first match. He bowled that excellent last over against Sunrisers Hyderabad in both the sides' first game all the way back in March, and it comes full circle when he's picking up 2 wickets against the same opposition in the grand final. Sunil Narayan and Varun Chakravarti did pick up 1 wicket each, but it was their control, it was their lack of giving away crucial runs in the middle overs which made sure that the KKR side are going to chase down a modest total. And Andre Russell has been stupendous as well. He usually comes to bowl at around 10 over mark when when the likes of Stark, Arora, Harshit Rana and one of the spinners have already given you a few overs. He comes around those parts and has picked up wickets at regular intervals. He's done that again in the final as well. This is probably the one IPL where Andre Russell has actually contributed more with the ball than with the bat. Not because he has had a terrible season with the bat. It's because the KKR side have never really relied upon the likes of Andre Russell, Ramandeep Singh and Rinku Singh to come and bail them out when the top order has collapsed. The top order has been exceptional for the Kolkata Knight Riders, and that is the reason why Andre Russell has not been that big star with the bat. So, having to chase just 114 runs, KKR managed to do that in just 10.3 overs, and it is thanks to Rahmatullah Gurbaz and Venkatesh Iyer. Gurbaz scoring 39 of 32 deliveries, and Venkatesh Iyer was the star of the show. 52 of just 26 deliveries, scoring at a strike rate of exactly 200. Just like Stark, he has stepped up in the two playoff matches. He scored a half century in the first qualifier, and now a second half century in the big final. Sunil Narine, 6 of 2 runs, scores a brilliant pull shot over, I think it was a deep mid wicket for a 6 of the very first delivery to facing Pat Cummins, and then he was dismissed for on the very next ball. And Shreyas Iyer, 6 of 3 deliveries. He scored 1 boundary. I was there till the end with Venkatesh Iyer scoring the winning runs. So there was a lot to talk about the KKR bowling in this match compared to the KKR batting, but it is how things have been in this edition of the Indian Premier League. The bowlers win you tournaments, the batsmen win you matches, and I think that is something so true. It is the KKR bowling which just eventually saw them lift the IPL trophy for the 3rd time. I think it's one of the cliche sayings from football, like the attackers win you matches, but it's the defense which kind of wins you the big tournaments. And in cricket, it's the other way around. It's the bowlers who win you tournaments, and that is so true. And credit where credit is due, and KKR have been the best side all throughout the IPL, and it's finally good to see the best side win the trophy for a change, unlike the 2023 World Cup, which didn't go according to our plans. So, as I mentioned, yes, we have talked about the final. KKR were brilliant. Mitchell Stark with the man of the match. It was Sunil Narine who picked up the MVP for the 3rd time in his IPL career. Yes, that is all well and good, but I want to talk about KKR's journey for a moment. Because let's be honest, yes, KKR played arguably the best cricket out of all 10 teams at the IPL, but it's not like they have not had any hiccups whatsoever heading into the playoffs and heading into the final. Yes, they topped the table with 20 points, a net run rate of 1.4. They were exceptional in the groups in the league phase, but they still had a few ups and downs heading into the playoffs. The first one which I can think of, granted there are not many, I can only think of 3, but they were still there, so I need to talk about them. The first one I think was their game against the Punjab Kings. Having posted upwards of 260, you are expected to win that game, not 99%, you are expected to win that game 100%. But unfortunately, KKR fell short and lost by 8 wickets. That's a big margin. Losing that game by 8 wickets when you have posted 261. Punjab Kings chased that down with 8 balls to spare, 1.2 overs to spare. So that was one of the blip that KKR might have faced heading into the latter stages of the tournament. For those of you who are not aware, that was probably the 5th, 6th, 7th, that was the 8th game of the Kolkata Knight Riders out of the 14 league matches you play. But since losing that big game against the Punjab Kings, they went on a 4-game winning run and were safely through to the playoffs. But that game might have disturbed the KKR management. They might have questioned whether the bowling is is a right, are they with going into the game with the right options? And I think that is where they might have made those changes. In that game, it was Chamira who played in place of Mitchell Stark. I think this is the only game which was where Chamira played. There was Anukul Roy playing in that game as well, and Ramandeep Singh was given the ball as well. I think this was the game in which they probably might have decided that this is not working. We are going to stick to our main bowlers and hope they come good. And by main bowlers, I mean Varun Chakravarti, Sunil Narayan, Andre Russell, Stark, Arora, and Harshit Rana. And I think from there, when they got that settled bowling lineup, it was then a smooth sailing for the Kolkata Knight Riders. But this might have been a blip. This might have made the KKR management, Chandu Pandit, Gautam Gambhir, to think about how they want to go about with the ball in this tournament. And I think, yes, it was a very damaging defeat, because in the end you have gone into the history books for all the wrong reasons. You are the side who lost in a world record run chase, so that is always going to be against the Kolkata Knight Riders, similar to how the 49 all out is always going to be with the Royal Challengers Bangalore, but Bengaluru should I say, yeah. But I think this was one of the blips heading into the latter stages of the tournament. The two other blips and the downs I want to talk about the Kolkata Knight Riders both have to do with them already qualified for the playoffs, but going into the playoffs with uncertainties. And there were two uncertainties in my mind. One of them involved their opening pair. Sunil Narayan and Phil Salt have been exceptional opening the innings. Both of them have had IPL with more than 420, 430 runs. So it shows how well the KKR have been up the order. And it is the exceptional batting display by both Phil Salt and Sunil Narayan that has allowed the likes of Venkatesh Iyer, Shreyas Iyer to come into the game with the game already in the pocket, if not like 60 to 50% of the game won. So, and that reduces the pressure of the middle order. That allows the middle order to flourish and indirectly doesn't put pressure on the lower order to come good, like KKR have always relied on Rinku Singh and Andre Russell. They've won the trophy this time without both of them having scored more than 200 runs in the IPL. So it's the top order, it's the openers which have given KKR such good momentum heading into each game. But Phil Salt was due to leave and go back to the UK for England's T20 series against Pakistan and for their World Cup preparations. Now, yes, Rahmadullah Gurbaz is an exceptional player. We have seen that in the couple of seasons he's played for the KKR side. But there are still question marks because he is not partnered alongside Sunil Narayan for more than a year. He's coming into a side which is going to play in the playoffs for the very first, in his first game. So there would have been question mark, but I think Rahmadullah Gurbaz has been exceptional with the bat in the two matches that he has played in the qualifier. In the first qualifier, he scored. He gave KKR a good start. He didn't score that many runs, but he scored 23 of 14 deliveries, 2 fours and 2 sixes. And in the final, he scored 39 of 32 runs, staying with Venkatesh Iyer and seeing the game through. Yes, he was dismissed in a very unfortunate manner, but when he was dismissed, the job was already done. I think all they needed was barely, how many, like less than 10 runs if I'm not wrong. So he has been exceptional. The intent in which Phil Salt used to play for KKR in this season's IPL up the order, I think he stayed with that intent. He went after the bowling in the power play and he reduced the pressure of the middle order, and that is exactly how KKR would have wanted him to play. He's a like-for-like replacement for someone like Phil Salt. Comes up the order, bats alongside Sunil Narayan, has that intent in the power play. He's not worried about himself wanting to get a big score. He just wants to give his side a good start. And he also keeps wickets. So he's just the Afghanistan version of Phil Salt. And that is so good to see that KKR managed to stick to their game plan, and Rahmadullah Gurbaz realizing what his responsibilities are. He was exceptional with the gloves as well, and and his presence meant that KKR weren't missing Phil Salt much. The third and the final blip, which KKR might have felt but they didn't, was them not playing their final 2 league matches. So earlier in this podcast, I mentioned how the Kolkata Knight Riders lost their 8th game, that big match against the Punjab Kings where they chased down 262. After that, they went on a 4-game winning streak. They defeated the Delhi Capitals by 7 wickets. They then beat Mumbai Indians by 24 runs. Then a big victory over LSG by 98 runs. And then yet another victory over the Mumbai Indians side by 18 runs. So they're on a 4-match winning run. They have already qualified for the playoffs. They are almost guaranteed a place in the top 2. But when you want your side to prepare for the playoff, they don't get any of those kind of privileges. The game against the Gujarat Titans was abandoned due to rain without even the toss. And then they had yet another abandoned game due to rain against the Rajasthan Royals. So they were going into the playoffs. Their playoff game was on the 21st of May, the first qualifier. Their last game that they actually played was 11th of May. So they had a 10-day gap where they should have played 2 matches, but they didn't play any of them. They just traveled, and traveling in the IPL can be a hassle, can be tiresome. But they did that. And there were some doubts heading into the playoff, the first qualifier against the Sunrisers, that whether the KKR side would be up for it, having not played for the last 10 matches, for the last 10 days, should I say. But those doubts were quickly thrown out of the window when the likes of Gurbaz and Narayan saw them get to the victory in the first qualifier. So they were just exceptional. There were a few hiccups, but they made sure that the hiccups wouldn't cause them any issues whatsoever heading into the qualifier and the big final. And that's obviously credit to the KKR management for making sure that it doesn't worry them. They have made an exceptional environment in that dressing room thanks to Gautam Gambhir. I think after the final, after the final and before the trophy presentation, Harsha Bhogle and Matthew Hayden were conducting interviews on the ground, and each and every one of them have praised, and each and every KKR player, should I say, have praised Gautam Gambhir, Abhishek Nair, and the whole backroom staff. So it is credit to how good they have been behind the scenes, and the players on the field. I think it has been a complete team effort. Let's quickly run down the KKR stats for this season's IPL and show every one of you how well they have been as a team unit. There hasn't been one standout player for the Kolkata Knight Riders. It has been a complete team effort. Sunil Narayan was their highest run getter for a change, 488 runs at a strike rate of 180. As I've mentioned earlier, it is their openers which have given them a buffer, some confidence, and I think a lot of credit should go to Sunil Narayan. The second highest run scorer was Phil Salt, 435 runs at a strike rate of 182. When your both openers are going at 180 plus, you know you are always going to get a good start, and that is something KKR have relied rightly on in this tournament. Venkatesh Iyer, outstanding, 370 runs at a strike rate of 158. Shreyas Iyer, 351 run IPL for him, 146 strike rate, that's quite good. Andre Russell, 222 runs, 185 strike rate, exceptional. Rinku Singh managed just 168 runs, but he has batted for just 11 innings. Ankrish Raghuvanshi, quite a standout player when Nitish Rana was injured. He scored 163 runs. He scored a magnificent half century on his debut. Ramandeep Singh, I think, let's not talk about Ramandeep Singh's runs because he only scored 125, but A strike rate of 201 when you come down at number 8 is exactly what you want. And then it was Rahmatullah Gurbaz with 62, having played just 2 matches. So contribution with the bat up and down the order. The top order obviously has contributed a lot more with the bat than the lower order, but that's how things should go. I want to talk about the KKR bowling because the KKR bowling is just outstanding. Every one of them has picked up wickets. The 6 bowlers which KKR used in the final, all 6 of them have had wickets, or had more than 10 wickets. Varun Chakravarti was the standout wicket taker. He picked up 21 wickets. Harshit Rana and Andre Russell were joint second in the highest wicket taking as far as the KKR side is concerned. Both of them ended up taking 19 wickets in the tournament. Sunil Narayan, Mitchell Stark are joint third, having both of them picking up 17 wickets, and Vaibhav Arora chipping in there with 11 wickets. So the wickets column were distributed quite evenly, if you personally ask me, and that is how a team should play. So yeah, this is one of my favorite episodes because being a KKR fan, I was so filled with joy, so filled with adrenaline I'm assuming that my joy and the passion has shown in this podcast. And I'm delighted. Winning the IPL is so difficult. Because all 10 teams heading into the IPL have equal chance of winning. All 10 teams have amazing Indian talent, outstanding overseas talent, and on their day they can beat anyone. And to beat all 9 teams and then clinch the trophy in such dominating fashion, to make the final a one-sided affair, is exactly how you stamp your authority on the tournament. And that is exactly how the Kolkata Knight Riders have gone about in this tournament. I think KKR have just lost 3 matches in this edition of the Indian Premier League. They lost the 3 games in, I should say, in the league stage. And that is the lowest number of losses for a winning side. So that's another record in KKR's book. This was unfortunately the final year of the cycle. That means that ahead of the 2025 Indian Premier League, we'll have a mega auction. We are still not aware how many retentions, right to match cards, if there are any, are provided to the teams. But I hope there are at least more than 4, because selecting 4 out of this outstanding side is going to be impossible for KKR. And I hope they can retain the core heading into their title defense next season. But that is a problem of 8 months down the line. We are not going to talk about that any longer. Congratulations to me. Congratulations to the Kolkata Knight Riders for winning the IPL. And it has been probably one of my favorite IPL seasons because it's my team that has won it in the end. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode where we have solely talked about the Kolkata Knight Riders, your 2024 IPL champions. If you enjoyed this episode, then make sure you're liking, sharing and subscribing on YouTube. If you're listening this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, then make sure you are giving me those 5-star ratings should you think I deserve them. However, for the time being, this is me, Vatsal Vora, signing off from the IPL. A lot of international cricket coming up, including the World Cup in a week's time. So stay tuned. But for now, ciao.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
It's time for today's Lucky Land horoscope with Victoria Cash.
Life's gotten mundane, so shake up the daily routine and be adventurous with a trip to Lucky Land. You know what they say. your chance to win starts with a spin. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com to play over 100 social casino-style games for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
Available to players in the U.S., excluding Washington and Michigan. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.